Hello everyone, welcome to Gypsy Jazz Fridays, and today we're going to take a look at how to improvise on the song I'll See You in My Dreams. So today I'm with my archtop, even though it's Gypsy Jazz Fridays. I just felt like playing my archtop today, and I figured why not. I mean, you can play Gypsy Jazz on any guitar, on a Gypsy Jazz guitar of course, but also on archtops, and you can play bebop on an archtop and on a Gypsy Jazz guitar. It doesn't really matter, it's just a different sound. So I made this episode last week about how to play rhythm for I'll See You in My Dreams, and someone asked me about how to play a solo on that tune, just because most people tend to play Django solo, which is a great solo. But he wanted to know what to do if you want to improvise on that tune. So what I thought I would do is, I would give you one kind of roadmap through the tune, through a couple of key licks that you can use to start building your improvisations. So let's go lick by lick, line by line. Let's start with the first one. So the first one is a line for the B flat 6 chord, that's the first chord, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is based around a B flat major 7 arpeggio, and the chord is B flat 6, but you can play the same things on a B flat 6 as you would be playing on a B flat major 7. This is a really nice line, so let's just play that on the backing track to see what it would sound like. Now the point is to not play this exactly every time you improvise with it. The point is to also vary the lick, and the way you do that is just by maybe not play everything, just play the first half. Or maybe the second half. Or embellish it, maybe you could play a note before it. Or 2 notes. Or start on the second note and go back to the first note and then back up. Like really simple embellishments without a theoretical plan. You just use your ears and just play with the phrase, see what you can come up with. You can change the rhythms, maybe play some quarter notes. Right? Stuff like that. So the idea is to still play this lick, but you vary it with very subtle embellishments. But you will find that limiting yourself to just this lick and be creative with it, that you can actually make many variations and you can be very creative just with this one thing. Let's go to the second lick. So before we go to the second lick, I just want to say that this way of improvising is closely linked to my improvisation system, which is called the Hemert system. And I just wrote a book. It's a book and a video series. And it was released on Indiegogo, or I did a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo. And then last week it was released to my Indiegogo campaign backers. And since then I've gotten many requests from people that also want to buy the book, but I want to give my Indiegogo backers kind of exclusivity, right? Because they were the ones that actually made this book happen. But I've decided, just because we're in the situation we're right now and people have a lot of free time, that for the next 24 hours, so let's say until April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke, just until April 1st, 12 midnight, my time, that's a European time, Central European time, you can order yourself a copy of the book by sending me a message through Facebook. That's the only way. So look me up on Facebook, send me a message that you want to order the book. It's 50 euros, and then I will send you an ebook and I will send you links to the video series, and then you'll have a copy. If you're too late, then there will be another time you can buy it, but if you are one of the first ones to watch this video in the first 24 hours, you can buy a book by messaging me on Facebook. The second lick is for B flat minor 6, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea is very simple. It's just a B flat minor triad with a lead tone for every note. Not for the first note, but you could play one for the first note too, right? You could start on the 4 end, the bar before. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see, of course, this is very easy to vary because you could change the rhythms quite easily. You could maybe play the lead tone twice. Or first play the chord tone, then the lead tone, and back to the chord tone. Or play it the other way around. First play the chord tone, then play the lead tone. Or play it going back up. Right, there's many things you could do, and then you could do also all the other things. You could add some notes before it. So let's play those first two phrases. And this one. Let's improvise a little bit with that on the backing track. Now the backing track is quite fast. I think it's the original tempo that Django plays, but you could always just press the three little dots in the top right corner and put the backing track on half tempo or 3/4 of the tempo. The backing track is on my YouTube channel. There's a link to that backing track in the description. Let's go to the next phrase. A lick that works well on F6 and sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. The F6 here is 4 bars, and on the backing track the chords are F6, E7, F6. But you can kind of skip that E7 in your solo. Of course you can play it, but you can also skip it. I think on the original recording there is not even an E7. It's just you could call it a passing chord. So you can just play F on top of it. It will sound great actually. So this lick works well. It's very easy to vary. You can already see, well, you could actually vary any lick you want, but this lick is based around F major 7 arpeggio, so you could play, go back down, very easy to do something with it, maybe. Again, it's not about specific rules, it's about using your ears and just coming up with nice embellishments. And the more you do it, the better you will get at it. Let's play the first 3 licks in an improvising way, not exactly. Let's do it again and let's try something else. One more time. Here we have a lick for 4 bars of D7. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. So it's basically a diminished arpeggio, F sharp diminished, and then it's a Phrygian dominant scaled down, or whatever, the names are not important, it's just a cool lick. Maybe not the easiest one to vary, but you could play parts of the lick, right? You could only play the, maybe the diminished arpeggio. Or maybe only the scale. Or maybe first play the scale and then the diminished arpeggio. Right? Okay, let's try that. The G7 lick is based around a F major 7 arpeggio. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very similar to the lick on F6, remember? In fact, it's exactly the same, only this is shorter. So now you ask, why would you be playing the same thing on G7 and on F6? That's because G7 is very much related to D minor 7, and D minor 7 is related to F major 7, and that's why we can play F major 7 on G7. That sounds fine. Right, and that you can vary it in exactly the same way. Let's go to the next lick before I play some solo with it. Here we have a phrase from C7 to F7 to B flat to the second half, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You resolve to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can resolve down to B flat. So what's happening here is this really typical Gypsy Jazz lick for C7. And then it's a diminished arpeggio from the A with 2 notes before it. One obvious way to vary it is to change the licks around, right? So first play the second lick on C7, then you would have to play it at a different spot, right here. And then play the first lick on F7. Right? Instead of doing it. So let's play a solo on the first half, because now we have the complete first half. I'll play a solo and then I'll talk about some other possibilities that you could try. Let's do it again, try to make a different solo. Now what happened now, for instance, on G7 I played the lick that I actually learned for C7. Played on G7. So that's my point. Now you can find other places to play the licks, right? The lick for F7 right here on the screen also fits on C7, on D7. The lick on D7 also fits on F7. That would be here, right? Of course, we have only one bar, so let's say we play that scale down. So now you can experiment with moving the phrases around on different chords. Of course, this is not easy to do, but the concept is not that advanced. It's very easy to understand this. Now, the second half, I chose some different things, even though the first few chords are the same. So let's take a look at those licks. Here's the lick for B flat 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. And this is a Stochler-Rosenberg lick, and yeah, maybe this one is not the easiest to vary. It's just a very nice lick. I would just play it like it is. But you could repeat some of the first few notes, or you could stay on those notes and just play that B flat triad. But this thing is really a thing that you should keep like it is because it's so nice. But I mean, you could vary everything, but I usually play it like this. Let's go to the next lick before I start improvising. It's one of my favorite kind of bluesy minor licks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's of course an A flat in it. So you could think, wow, but that's B flat minus 7. Why are you playing that on B flat minus 6? But for me, B flat minus 6, B flat minus 7, B flat minor major 7, they are all the same for me. I can play this exact same phrases on it. Of course, when I play a chord, those are different chords, but for the solo lines, they all work. That's how I look at minor chords. So let's improvise a little bit from the beginning until this point. So I'll play the first half with the licks that we discussed there, and then I'll play these two new ones on the second half. I went on, and on F I played the lick from the first part, but I actually have a different one for you. This one. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. This is what I would call a 1-3-5 lick. That means you take the 1, the 3 and the 5 of a major chord or a minor chord, in this case a major chord. So the chord is F major, so you take F, A, C, and then you do something with those notes. And in this case we're just playing enclosures to those notes. F, C, A, again F, A, C, A. You could go on F, C, A, F. Right? Whatever you want. You can play it the way going up. Right, whatever you want. But in this case, just play it down and easy to vary. You could start in the middle. You could just play the first part. You could play it in different places of the bar. You could extend the enclosure. So let's improvise until this part. Here we have the weird part of the song where it goes A half diminished, D7, A7, D minor. And I have this lick for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's first a C minor 6 arpeggio up, or A half diminished arpeggio, same thing. With my favorite fingering. And then we go to a altered scale for A7. It's an altered scale with some skipped notes. Resolving to D minor. This is not the easiest thing to vary. I mean, you could do it, you could change the rhythms, but this is also a weird part of the song. I would just play it like it is here, or you could just skip the first 2 bars and only play the last 2 bars, for example, and put some rest in your solo, or maybe some chords, maybe play some... right, for example, or or play the first 2 bars and then play some chords. 3, 4, 1. Something like that. And then we arrive at the final 4 bars. And the final 4 bars are either a 2, 5, 1, 2, F, or the backing can play B flat, B, C, 6, C7, F. But that's just another way to play a 2-5. So I would just opt to play either some 2-bar C7 lick, and then you can take the one that we played earlier on the dominant chords, or you could play a cool 2-5-1 lick. And I have many videos about that, but here's a cool 2-5-1 lick that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or any other 2-5-1 lick you want. Any 2-5-1 lick you have in your repertoire. And if you don't have any, check out my videos about 2-5-1s. Just type in my name with 2-5-1, just in letters, and you will get, I think, many videos. So let's play a complete solo. And maybe I'll play 2 choruses, maybe 3. And then the first chorus I will stay within the confines of what I have given you here. But then the second chorus I might do some different things. But remember that the concept for me is the same, right? I have all of these licks, phrases that I know, and I just vary them and I link them together in different ways. And I try to be creative while doing that. So that's how I improvise a new solo every time, even though it is always based on licks and phrases that I know. And this can go on forever, of course. And the only thing I'm doing is I'm paying attention to what I'm playing, and I'm trying to not repeat myself too often and to try to vary the rhythms and the places where I play exactly, maybe put some chords, maybe some octaves. And I keep building on my vocabulary like this. And a very systematic way of starting that process is through my book. And again, for the next 24 hours until midnight, April 1st, Central European time, you can get a book by sending me a message and I will reply to you and we will arrange it. I hope you liked it, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!